Right guys, it's Meregali. We are here doing a breakdown from my match at Pans against Roosevelt Pereira. So let's start. So that match was at that day was my first tough match, like on Sunday. So I was warm already. So the first match I made, I kind of pushed the mat a little longer to feel my body, like because I fought Saturday, so I normally like to go a little bit longer in my first match on Sunday just to see how my body is like feeling the championship, just to like change the energy from a hard day competing, a long night resting, and then a hard, like kind of put myself in competition. So I did well in this tournament, so I felt my first match was around 6 to 7 minutes. And I got put on my body in the perfect zone. So I knew, and I know actually everybody knows that Roosevelt is a very tough guy. He never won any major tournament, but he's always there. Like he's always second place, third place. He's always making wars against all the top champions in the sport, like big names like Eric and Gutenberg and whoever he's competing, he's having wars. And I know it could be a potential tough match for me. We started, I was like shaking my head, like trying to like focus on the present. So I felt my body was great. I was like in the zone, but not like so deep. And that was my main mistake in the match, actually, to be honest. Because we started, he pulled guard, so that was a thing that I wasn't expecting. So he has some good connections here. Like he pulled very solid with a hand on my elbow triceps here. He's fighting to my sleeve. I got a counter, so I started to leg drag him because he didn't have my hand on collar and even hand on bottom pants. So I got kind of leg drag him and moved to the side. So he got control my leg. So here he's controlling my leg and trying to start an inversion. So what I did, I switched my legs position. And then I start to, because I had, right here I have my left knee behind his leg, the same hand that he has some reverse de la Riva. So I was stuck in his leg, and then I switched my legs position, left to right, and I got a leg drag. So most of the case, I create some good pressure in this position. I get control of the situation pretty well, to be honest, so I can like move forward inside this to back takes, to side control, and then find some good opportunity to step forward inside the match. But in this one, as I was like not so focused yet, I was focused but not like I didn't have the focus necessary to fight against a guy like Roosevelt because he's tough. So I lost my leg drag completely. He was inverting. I did a nice high step here, as you guys can see. So he started to control. Let's move back. So he started to control my leg, the leg I had outside the leg drag. So I felt this. I made some nice high step back, and then I kept my pressure, but I didn't change my hands pretty well. So I didn't grab the collar. My hand went to his back in the wrong spot. So I didn't monetize this position, so I was just retarded. I do mistakes, guys, sometimes, but I wasn't focused. That is why I made the mistake. So here he started to invert on my legs. I tried high step again, like kind of a loose high step. Against a guy like him, you have to like move precise in a strong way, otherwise you are not doing anything. Roosevelt, I think he's like 250 pounds, like he's huge, and man, he's strong. Like he's strong for me. I was like, fuck, this guy, this dude. So he was hunting to my back, and right now the dark time started. I mean, for me it wasn't a dark time, but for like the whole perspective was a dark time. So I can remember people like cheering for Roosevelt because he could take my back and tap me. So people want to see the champion losing the top one spot. So he was hunting to my back. So he did a good job with his left hook behind my knee right here, and his right leg around my own leg, countering my hip. So the situation is kind of hard to explain, but I'm gonna do my best. So he had a good few seconds before he sent me forward. He had a better control about my hip. He was controlling my hip. So he decided send me forward like he did, and I sit over his bottom leg, right? So I sit over his bottom leg and I start facing him. Instead that build a control, Roosevelt decided to go straight to the collar. It's not wrong, but if you're not having some good chest to chest, if you're not having any kind of lower body control, if you're not, I mean, your hooks are not working well. So if you go straight to the collar, having no safety adjustment, so your chances to lose the position just like increases drastically, and that was what happened. So he started fighting for the collar without have any control on my lower body, right? So he didn't have a hook, he wasn't working any seat belt or Kimura control or double collars, so he was just trying to choke me. I do a good job here. I know that it's pretty easy if the guy has any kind of lower body or upper body control, just like turn and face the opponent. So every time you're on the back, doesn't matter where he's grabbing, so just turn. Of course, if the collar is like super deep and you turn, you're gonna choke yourself, but that's not the case right here. So he had his right hand on my collar and on my top collar, and bottom side lower collar. So it was easy, like facing him, release completely the pressure from my collar, and then start to escape. So he tried to switch for Kimura. I just moved my arm and escaped from him. So when I felt he was working to wrap my arm, I grabbed his bottom pants with my left arm. So grabbing his pants, I could avoid any kind of transition and movement that he could go around my body and then sit on my arm and work on arm bars. So I'm still grabbing his pants. So right here, there is a very good detail. Every time when you are escaping from Kimuras, or of course side Kimuras like that, or arm bars, you have to split your opponent's legs or drive for one direction. So here the best thing I could make was split his legs and then work on my escape. So he had a Kimura. It's kind of weird Kimura. It sounds like not right. Yeah, it's not right, definitely. I mean, it's weird to understand.
Because he has it over the top, right? Like, is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, I think he has. Damn, he has a wrong. I just realized I didn't watch the match yet. So he has a wrong Kimura configuration. He's doing for the wrong side. I mean, if you do Kimura, you can see when it's right or when it's wrong, and his Kimura is completely wrong. Like he's doing for the wrong side. I didn't see that. I'm curious to see what happened later in the video. Easy. All right. So I'm gonna move back and explain this. I mean, I was very relaxed inside this situation. Like very, for real. I was moving. I kept the same pace since the beginning. I didn't spaz. I didn't went crazy. I was like, all right, so I'm gonna escape. My escapes are pretty good. So I kept the same pace since the beginning. Since the time he started to take my back, I just kept the same vibe. And I can remember actually right now watching the video, my hand coming to the collar like here. So I can remember his wrong Kimura. Right now I can feel it. So his wrong Kimura, and I was like, all right, so I'm grabbing the pants. He has a wrong Kimura. It's never gonna work. It's just about grab the collar. So I just come up, because I do a lot at Nogi. I escape from Kimuras and from arm bars, catching a collar tie, reverse collar tie, and then coming up to my knees. And here I made the same, but I had super from the collar because we have the gi. So I was on top. I knew it would be just about time. So I kept controlling his hip. Right now I got the crossface. No, not yet. So I'm fighting to the crossface. I'm very heavy on his hip. I'm having this backhand on his pants, giving me support, like to make myself heavier on top. I'm sitting back on my heels, as you guys can see. So right now I got the first hand on crossface, the first time. So I have both hands, I adjust my hand. Look at how, it's beautiful. Look at how I adjust my hand on the back. I use my biceps like to kind of punch his trap until I get my hand in a good spot. And every time when, you guys have to learn that, every time when you guys are grabbing crossface from half guard, your hand must be in the middle of the back, not on the armpit. Armpit, completely wrong. If someone teaches you like that, it's wrong. It's wrong. It doesn't work. I heard, no, it doesn't. So, second show, half guard, the hand is on the back, in the middle of the back. The more you extend your arm and you get your biceps around your opponent's neck, once you have your hand on the back and you start like to drive this guy flat, your whole forearm and biceps is pretty much choking your opponent. The pressure from half guard doesn't come from the shoulder. Again, if you learned pressure from half guard, putting shoulders on your opponent's face, it's completely wrong. It's 100% wrong. The pressure comes from biceps. When you lock your triangle, the pressure comes from your hamstring. When you are getting some crossface grip, hand on the back, pressure comes from the biceps. Same mechanic. It's not like shoulder, like people try to teach and no one gets pressure on top. Just strong guys, because everybody does wrong. So right here, I got the pressure. Look at his face. Fuck. He's done. Man, it's so fucking pressure. So I remember, the fun part is about, I remember his coach. Like his coach was, Roosevelt, you train every day under pressure. You know what pressure means. And I felt his head kind of like agreeing with his coach. Right here. You guys can see him. Fuck, I can't imagine. I can see that. Look at it right now, his face shaking like, yes, I know, coach, I know. Right here, his eyes like kind of blinking his eyes. Oh my fucking God, I cannot see. Right here, you guys will see, fuck, it's amazing. So, and I was like literally choking him from half guard. I could feel his head exploding. And then he tried bridge to my direction, which was fine. We kind of disengaged from half guard. When I fell, there's some skill that I'm developing pretty well. I'm getting to scramble and move back to half guard, and that was what I did on him. I tried actually here, switch for a Kimura from half guard, so I lost the chance. I controlled his top leg, and I moved back to half guard. Same setup, knee inside, my arm kind of covering the hip, and then I fight again for the crossface, the same setup. So the second time that I got my pressure, my top pressure on half guard, so his coach said exactly the same thing. You felt before, you know what pressure means. And his coach is Brazilian, so I heard in Portuguese and I was like, let's feel. So he said that, and then Roosevelt didn't reply like with eyes or head. He was just like, man, I'm in a weird position, you know, like there's pressure here, you know. So that was funny. So I felt he was done. When he didn't reply, his coach, he was done. Look at his face right now. Oh my fucking God, man, he's red. But I just want to build pressure on top to murder people. That is why. Because I can like keep having my game side to side leg drags. I do pretty well. I pass everybody guard like that. But I want to like put pressure on people. I want to see people like, fuck, you know. Again, I'm getting more pressure. My head position is perfect, covering his far shoulder. So I have my hand giving him support. So he just jumped. Right now, he's super strong. I would love to maintain the side control here instead than go to the back, because I would prefer to score first. But he's just strong, man. I was like, man, I cannot like hold this guy. Better go straight to the back. Look at, he has some weird position grabbing my leg like that, and he's so strong that he didn't lose the grip. So I try hold him, he turned, I made my job. So I got this detail from the back is a very nice detail. If you have a chance, it's not every time, depending on how your opponent's hip, how his opponent's hip is in the position on turtle. If he's sitting on the heels, it's harder. But he was having, he had his hip high, so I got his tap, this leg, the right one, inside his knee, and then I have my knee inside his two legs, so it was easy to pull everything in and then place my bottom hook. He didn't have any good control in any moment, right? So right here, he was avoiding my hook. And what I do, so when someone is defending a back take, you have to create a dilemma about attack the upper body and attack the lower body. When you attack the upper body, you normally attack for chokes. And then you force the person to come up to work on your hands, like in the no-gi hand fighting, in the gi, like stop the hand to come deep on the collar. So when you use both hands to work on upper body, you can place hooks. So that was what I did on Roosevelt. So I had one hook in, very well placed. So I tried to place my second one, but he was using his hands to avoid my second hook. All right, so work on upper body. So I started to work on upper body. He literally quit about defend the hook, so I placed my second hook, and then it's over. So I have my chest on his back perfectly. I have both hooks in. I score my 4 points. I start to work on the collar. So I got the collar, and then I do what I always do. I always give to my opponent's space to escape over my bottom leg, and then I rise my knee up and get some good position to choke. So I just started putting pressure. He tapped because he couldn't escape. And I celebrate a lot because people were against me when he took my back. But like, man, come on, man. I never tapped in a black belt, and I wanna keep this achievement until I retire. So I'm one of, like, I think there's more 3 or 4 guys in the whole story who never tap, and I mean I can tap. So who knows about the future? But my level is just like, you know. I feel I'm still like rising my level, so probably I'm not tapping until I retire, and it's gonna be a very, very nice achievement for the career. Because Jiu-Jitsu is about that. Jiu-Jitsu is about you tap your opponent, and you don't give any space for your opponent to find a submission on you. I never tap, so that's a good sign now. I didn't get tired competing against those guys, like the whole match, because I'm being so efficient, choosing my techniques, applying my techniques, like saving energy in the right time. So imagine I barely grabbed the gi in the tournament, so I didn't feel my hands like after the tournament. Normally people kind of, I feel my form after competing or after session. It's because you're using your grip's strength in the wrong way. You're not gripping correctly. You're not using the right guard. You're not like finding transitions and saving energy and then stepping forward without like spending your strength. So that match was pretty fun. He did a good job taking the back, as I said. Everybody says that he works like really hard. So I don't know if he's becoming a champion one day, like world champion or whatever. So as I said, no one knows about the future. But that's something that we have to give him credit, because everybody says the same. Roosevelt, he works like really hard, and if he's becoming more, having more success in his career, it's because he deserves. Maybe he trains more than everybody else, and it's good to know that if someone is coming and rising inside Jiu-Jitsu, it's because that person is working hard. So everything's about work hard, man. So credit for Roosevelt, and I hope we fight again, and I hope I tap him again, and it is what it is. Nice.